Welcome back. 9:13 is your time. Some new details. Standardized tests in the state of Florida may not determine if students graduate or move on to the next grade level this year. A new executive order from state officials will let districts and schools determine how the test scores are used. Many parents and educators have been calling for this to happen because the pandemic has disrupted learning. The state will also not issue school grades unless a district asks for them. Joining us now with more on what this will mean for students and for parents and, of course, for schools is Andrew Spar, president of the Florida Education Association. Good morning, Andrew. It's always good to see you. How are you today?
Great, Danielle. Good morning. Good seeing you as well.
I'm so glad you're here to talk about this because as a parent, this is something that affects all of us, right? Talk to us about how FEA feels about this.
Well, we think this emergency order is a huge step in the right direction. Obviously, we, along with our members, along with parents across the state, have been saying this is not a normal year. And because it's not a normal year, it didn't make sense to have consequences associated with state testing for students, for our schools, or for the teachers in our schools. The last part is still unclear, but we certainly know with this emergency order that districts are going to now have flexibility so that students aren't negatively impacted by these test scores this year. We know that our schools are not going to be graded, as you said, unless schools opt in, and they don't have to do that until they see these test results. And with so many disruptions because of COVID, because of quarantining, it's really the right thing to do. And what we've been asking the Department of Education is to make sure it's also very clear that our teachers whose evaluations, pay, and job security is tied to student test scores they are not impacted by this as well.
So let's talk a little bit more specifically about what exactly is being waived. So, for example, my son's taking the SAT this Saturday, right? And he's a junior in high school. How will his test result affect whether or not he'll be able to take it again next year? Will he be able to throw that out? What's going to be waived?
Yeah, so this is really specific to the Florida State Assessment, the FSA, and of course exams. And so what this is saying is that there are certain requirements that students have to pass the FSA in order to graduate. That's being waived, and especially for the seniors this year who may not have had the opportunity because they took the test in 10th grade, maybe struggled. Then last year we had COVID while they were in 11th grade, and here we are in 12th grade, they have COVID. So this is really going to waive that requirement, and districts are going to be able to say that the students have in fact completed the work comparable and therefore should be able to graduate. Same thing for third grade retention. Students in third grade are mandatorily required to be retained if they do not pass the third grade FSA. Again, that's going to be waived this year because of COVID. And then lastly, as you said, with school grades, that's another area where schools are graded, funded, and a lot of consequences or good things that happen out of that school grade system. Those are going to be waived this year as well. And schools are going to be given the deference to continue the work that they're doing, use these test scores to help kids and the learning and not have those negative consequences.
Oh, certainly take a lot of pressure off of students for sure. Andrew Spar, always appreciate you. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Absolutely, Danielle. Have a great day.
You do the same. Thank you again. The time right now is 9:17. Let's go.